Welcome in, Minnesota Vikings fans, to another Monday evening GG Sports Podcast live
Let's
stream.
go.
Amy, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing pretty good. Just got back from scoliosis. Let me do some shout outs here, actually, right away. I'll finish that up. Gary, what's going on, man? I know we saw your comments coming in before we started here. Appreciate you all tapping in. Skull Mafia, you got your card. That's awesome. Speaking of cards, we got a couple hashtag skulls. Michael O, what's going on? Of course, that means it's a chance to win another Justin Jefferson rookie card. So hashtag skull in the comments. Like the video. Do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I know all of you guys are.
By the way, seven viewers, 4 likes. Let's get that to a 1-to-1 ratio here. So if you haven't hit like yet,
get those likes coming in. Get those likes coming in. Gary Bandito, what's going on, man? Scoliosis, let's go. So Jim Sal, what's going on? All right, we got everyone here. Dave Ditter, I hate talking wide receiver when we pass on the top 2 wide receiver in the wide receiver class last year. Now we're going to take a defensive back in a defensive back class. Yeah, dude. I know we're going to go into it because we're going to bring our top 5 wide receivers from last season and see how we did. But we were in that same boat. We really wanted Garrett Wilson last year. Spoiler alert, that was our number 1. He passed. We obviously didn't even have a chance at him, but we traded back with the Lions, and then we got Jameson Williams, all that good stuff. Oh, dude, you're good, Bandito. Hey, man, don't forget, you have a card waiting for you. I still have a card waiting for you, so definitely hit me up on Instagram to grab that. Michael, what's going on? Jim Sal, what's going on? How do you guys get so many? I just buy them. I buy them. Yep, I buy them off eBay.
I'm just here. I'm just here.
Into cards and stuff. I'm really into cards and stuff, so I kind of go out and grab them. Anyways, no, you're asking how I'm doing or whatever. I just got back today from a ski trip. I'm located in Colorado right now, and I don't know if anyone can tell, but like my face is burnt to shit, and I have like a goggles. I got a goggles imprint, all that good stuff. But it was a good time either way. What's going on, Scara? What's going on? Oh, dude, Bandito, I'm not going to do that to you. I got it. I got you. I'll hold that thing for years if I have to. No worries, man. Whenever you're ready. Anyways, how about you, Casey? What's going on with you?
Well, I'm pretty good. Not too much. Just enjoying a nice brewski. I birthday tomorrow, so I'm starting the festivities.
Hey, happy birthday, man.
A little bit early. Be 29 years old. I'm getting too old for this, but
yeah, like I told him, I'm 30, and there's a difference. 29 to 30. It was a step forward, man. I'll tell you that for sure. Absolutely, Bandito. Absolutely. Weirdest thing. I logged on onto my other accounts and subscribed, but it doesn't show the number went up. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I do think because I try to go into other accounts and like our videos and stuff sometimes, and it doesn't even like that much. I wonder if YouTube like tries to track that kind of stuff.
Maybe.
Happy B-Day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's go. All right, here. Let's dive into the wide receivers. So, just like everybody else knows, a wide receiver 2, a wide receiver on the opposite side of JJ is definitely a need. I don't know if everybody's in agreement that it should be in the first round. I guess it really just depends. I think we're going into this draft with best player available if we stay pat at 23, which I do think there's a lot of good wide receivers potentially that could be there for us at that pick.
Which we just did. We just recorded a mock draft before this. It'll be dropping on Wednesday, which we found ourselves in that situation. So
yeah, which we actually, spoiler alert, we ended up going a different direction.
What do you do?
On Skull Mafia. Anyways, let's jump into our top 5 from last year and see how we did there. That way you can get a better idea how we might do this year's top 5. But
and I'm gonna start this because I believe my guy is the one that we're starting with on this from number 5 last year.
Yep, number 5. So Casey's the left, I'm the right. That's any of our videos you guys watch. It's always Casey left. I'm always the right.
Right. So going back to David's comment here, I sorry, not this one, because we passed on wide receiver last year. I would have been fine with not. I think Lewis Cine is going to be a fantastic player in this league. I love what I see from him. I think if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to do really good things. I would have been fine with sticking and picking Jameson Williams at number 12. Could you imagine? Like, he's the guy that we're looking for. We need that deep threat that can stretch the field.
Right.
Guess what? He had one catch last year.
Right.
And the deep shot that stretched the field for a touchdown against the Vikings. Well, we'll forget about the last part there. But man, Jameson Williams, did he show it last year? No, but everybody knew that going into that draft, that Jameson Williams was a guy you're going to draft for the future.
Yeah. And he's a guy that we don't really know about yet. Like, obviously he was injured. We knew coming into the last season he's going to be injured for most of the season. So we got to see a little bit. We really got to see a little bit of him towards the end of the season. So he's somebody that could definitely go up on this list. Trading back in the what's going on to Evil to Hope. Trading back in the first round makes the most sense.
I would agree.
I agree. Honestly. At this point, especially when we do these mock drafts, who knows how it's really going to go. But when we do these mock drafts at pick 23, there's usually at this point right now anyways, there's like 2 or 3 that I'm liking, that I'm like, man, if we traded back just a few picks even, I'm assuming we'd probably see a little bit more than that. But yeah, I mean, I think that should be definitely a possibility. My number 5 last year was Chris Olave.
I undersold Chris Olave a lot last year.
And even number 5 is selling. That's selling low or underselling Chris Olave for sure. He was probably, in my opinion, number 2. If I was to remake top 5 from last week, I'd probably pick Chris Olave as the number 2 wide receiver from last year.
Yeah.
Bet the ranch. There's apparently some drama between Williams and the Lions, so maybe we dodged a bullet. Yeah, I mean, maybe Jameson Williams is. And then there's a player in this draft that actually reminds me a lot like Jameson Williams. I'm sure everybody knows who I'm talking about, but he's not as coveted. He's not as coveted, but I think he's going to bring definitely. I think he can maybe be as good. I don't know. Bet the ranch on Richardson. Man, pick 3. And Richardson, you'd have to hold on to him for like 2 or 3 years before you can even have really big expectations. Who knows? Maybe he comes in and plays well in his first season or something, grows pretty quickly or something like that. But I like Richardson a lot. I don't know if I'd want to trade all the way to the top 3 pick just to get him. Maybe you guys are all on it. You guys want that big swing. You guys want to go for the. It's a massive swing. I mean, you trade up probably at least 3 first-round picks. You get a guy that has the potential, has all the tools to literally be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and already is the most athletic quarterback we've ever seen come into this draft, especially when you consider his size and everything.
Yeah. So see, with me, like, we don't. Okay, we've talked a lot about quarterbacks on the show. We probably don't need to. We're talking receivers now. We can wait and talk quarterbacks later.
Yeah. We'll make our way to quarterbacks.
We always do. We always find a way to pull us back into the quarterbacks.
Some dude made a video about Jameson is going to be the best receiver in the league. Like, calm the fuck down, dude. Hasn't even proven. Yeah, we haven't seen nothing. I mean, he still played a few games, and they didn't even see enough from them either. Oh, dude, you're good, man. You're good.
It's fine. We'd have gotten there eventually anyway. It always happens.
Yeah, we're
talking receivers. Receivers catch footballs.
Receiver.
Quarterbacks throw footballs to receivers. We have Kirk Cousins. It would have gotten there eventually.
Yeah. So it's just his late pick on him. Hey, I would take it. I want that kind of quarterback. All right, I'll come back to quarterback. We'll come back to quarterback. So number 5, Chris Olave. We undersold him here. I think he's number 2. There's no question in my mind.
I didn't even have him in my top 5, so I really undersold.
You really undersold him. You really undersold him. So number 4, it's Jahan Dotson too.
He started off hot. I mean, I think he got hurt a little bit during the season, but I think with the right quarterback back there, I think Jahan Dotson's going to be a really good receiver in this league for sure.
There's no question he's a good receiver. Good receiver. All right, there we go. I think Addison or Flowers. I 100% agree with any of those. I would love any of those players. Number 3, we had Drake London, which at this point when we made this, he was favored to be the number 1 wide receiver in this draft class, which he eventually was picked number 1 overall. I think we did a solid pick. I think, obviously he's a rookie coming in. There's not a lot in the passing game for Atlanta.
He was hampered badly by the quarterback position.
But at the same time, he was also the number 1. He should have been. He was the number 1 target, so he had the opportunities and stuff. And I think obviously I still think he's going to be a good wide
Absolutely.
receiver. But
When they get the quarterback position solidified for sure, because like
yeah,
when they started the season with Marcus Mariota, he started off okay, and then
right.
obviously can't keep that up for a full season. Then
Yeah.
obviously mixing in Ritter, it just I don't know. It didn't put him in a good spot to succeed right away, unfortunately. So,
Mhm.
but man, Drake London, yeah, he's definitely that go up and get it guy for sure.
Yep. Yep. And then our first blunder, probably, but in our defense, we got
Mm,
Traylon
I'm
Burks,
not.
number 2,
I'm not going to call it a blunder though, because that quarterback position for that team was so bad.
and
We
he
had a
was
couple huge
injured.
games early on in the season with Tannehill, but once Tannehill got hurt and was kind of in and out, then you didn't see a lot from him. But I think the talent is still there. If they can find themselves, a quarterback, I think he's
Yeah,
going to be. I think he's going to be just fine
he had flashes. He
for
definitely
sure.
shown flashes. He had shoddy quarterback play, and he was injured, which
But it's
obviously you should be available, but
it
still.
sounds like Titans might be in the works for quarterback though. There was that rumor
Um,
today that they were in
oh yeah,
discussions with Arizona about number
that they
3.
might
So
move up to the top 3. They might
who do
have
they?
Anthony Richardson.
And they said they would even offer up Willis and a couple first rounders to get up into that first spot. So I wonder or third spot. I wonder who they'd go for. I would assume they're probably leaning more Richardson. Could you imagine Anthony Richardson and Derrick Henry on the same football team?
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. And then Traylon Burks, assuming that he's going to meet our expectations as the number 2 from last year. Did either of you guys? I think you were talking. Was this you talking? Just talking about this? Did you guys? Either of you guys read the article about growing so terrible. A nas I can't even say it, between the Lions and Jamison Williams. So you were the ones that talked about that, right? Was that you that just said that?
Yeah, it was
Or was
in
that
the
the
comments
chat?
earlier.
So yeah, we heard about that. So something's going on there. That's why someone said we might have dodged a bullet there. Gary Blauster, let's talk realistic. IDL, we need to help there so bad. Actually, interior defensive line, that's who we're gonna talk about next week, probably. I do think that's our number 1 position of need going into
I've
this
been saying
draft.
it all offseason.
And he's been saying this all offseason before Delvin Tomlinson even got picked up by a different team. So I don't know.
Which again, mock draft coming Wednesday, we might address that position at number 23. Just maybe.
There's some defensive interiors that I'm really liking at our pick. I don't think it's gonna happen. Number 1 from last year,
here's
Garrett
the thing.
Wilson. We hit this one.
We knocked Traylon Burks for quarterback position wasn't solidified, yada yada. And then we're just going to totally contradict that with Garrett Wilson, considering he played with Zach Wilson and Mike White, and still put up a rookie of the year season.
Great numbers. And I had him in fantasy football, was one of my biggest steals, keeper league. So he'll be a steal for me next year. Garrett Wilson's awesome. If Aaron Rodgers ends up actually going to the Jets and we see that, I expect huge numbers out of Garrett Wilson. We know Elijah Moore got traded. Elijah Moore, who did he get traded to again?
Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
Which now Cleveland, if you look at that receiver core, it's
solid with
Cooper, Moore, Peoples-Jones, like that's and David Njoku, I believe he's still there. Like that's a solid one. That's a solid 3 receiver punch there with Nick Chubb back there in the backfield. A good offensive line.
We'll see you next week too, man. I mean, obviously we're finishing this one, but yeah, definitely interior defensive lineman. It's going to be all about that. We're our live shows. Unless something big news comes up, we're going to kind of continue doing these position of needs for these shows. Unless something like bigger comes up, like we have, like last week we did what Kirk Cousins denies the extension or whatever. That's worth its own show for sure. It's definitely worth. Would rather be up for drafting Bijan Robinson since he's a running back that could also catch. Rather be up. I like Robinson a lot. We have to figure out, obviously, we just re-signed Madison. Cook is still on our team. I don't expect Cook to be there next week or by next year. But, man, I think Robinson is such an amazing talent. I have a feeling he's going to go top 10. I have a feeling he's going to end up going top 10. Someone's going to want him there, especially with I don't see him going past the Eagles. The Eagles are number 11, right?
No, 11 or 12? They're 10, aren't they?
Or are they 10? Yeah, I don't see him going past them. I don't. All right, let's go through our top 5 for this year. So we're going from last year to this year. Number 5, starting with Casey.
Now, mine's a little bit odd. Like, I know he had like 200 yards last season, whatever. But just from the size and athletic ability, plus he played with Maryland and their offense wasn't very good. But just the size, the speed, he's the whole package. Just needs to get on a better football team. Like, yeah, I really did like what I saw from him though.
So
Just
when we looked at all these wide receivers, we both really like Dante Demas from just watching his tape. He's a big, pretty fast, strong, very strong hands wide receiver. I don't know what happened. His second year, he had a really good year, and then the last year, his receiving yards dropped quite a bit. But there's something about this guy, and this is Casey has him at number 5. And if we come back and do this again next year and we find out, because this was another guy too, my 6th guy, we didn't see him in there, was George Pickens. And I wish I would have put him in my top 5 last season, but he was a guy people probably had at like 8 or 9. And he went on to be maybe the number 3 wide receiver in this draft class, last year's draft class. So we might see something from Dante Demas. He might be that gem that not a lot of people know about.
Which comparing these two, Dante Demas, same weight and is an inch taller.
Comparing these two is Quentin Johnson.
Because Quentin Johnson's 6'3", Dante Demas is 6'4". So it doesn't really mean much, just a thought.
What are your guys' feelings on the most overrated and underrated wide receivers this draft? I think, all right, we'll start right now. I think the most overrated is Quentin Johnston for sure. Obviously, I have him as number 5. A lot of people have him as their number 1. I could be completely wrong. Like, I just watching his tape and stuff, he just doesn't come off as polished as some of these other guys. But obviously, he's a physical freak. That's the reason why he's rated so high from people. And he's been kind of falling down mock drafts. If we ended up with him, I probably still would be excited because I'd be like, all right, I'll trust, all these other football heads. But I would say I think Quentin Johnston is the most overrated. The most underrated. What do you think? Would you agree with that, Casey?
I would say so, yeah. Do you think when you go to underrated, is Tank Dell rated pretty fairly, you think? Or is he kind of, because there's a lot of people that are super high on him.
Yeah.
But you see him lasting in these mock drafts till mid-rounds.
I think me and you are not as in on Tank Dell as like Justin and Rap. Everybody knows those guys. If anybody doesn't, go check. I'll just do plugs for all of them. Go check out Purple and Gold for Days with Justin. Go like and subscribe to his channel. Go see Purple Pocket Podcast. Y'all know him for sure. But if you don't, go subscribe and check out their channels. And of course, Minnesota Sports Talk with Dave. Go check all their channels and subscribe as well. But no, like Justin and Rap really like Tank Dell. I think he's about where he should be based on like most people's like PFF's rankings. I think he's going to be like an early 2nd round, maybe mid-2nd round type of guy.
I feel like he's
the 1st rounder.
I feel like he's a worse Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Would you agree with
that?
Kind of
how I feel about it.
Kind of like the same build, but not as talented.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it as well. And then as far as underrated goes, Tank Dell is tiny baby wide receiver. Is it
Greg? Thanks for hopping in.
Baby wide receiver. That's what I'm worried about is his size. And if I'm going to go with that size, I'm going with Zay Flowers. If I'm going for size for sure. Underrated. We're going to get more into these guys. Let's see what we have here. So underrated. I'll start with Jalen Hyatt. I think he's like most underrated, overrated. Like he was so underrated. And now it almost seems like people are pushing him so high that he might be considered kind of overrated. Like he's someone I'm hoping to get. Like I don't think I want him at 23, but if we traded back and got into the beginning of the 2nd round and we picked him there, I'd be totally cool with it. And he could even be better than what I'm even expecting because, man, when you watch his tape, he's just wide open and he's that vertical threat we exactly need across from Justin Jefferson, like we were talking about Jameson Williams. But another thing I really like about him is he's not just a deep threat. He can catch like short passes and break them for touchdowns and stuff like that. He's not just a one-trick pony. If anything, he has like 2 tricks, which both those tricks are pretty dope in my opinion. My other underrated guy I'm going to go into him eventually here a lot is I think Jordan Addison has came way too far down. Spoiler alert, he's my number 1 wide receiver on this list. And I think he's the best wide receiver in this draft class. And I think a lot of people have him going as like the 3rd wide receiver or whatever now.
What do we got? I might have missed it, but what is your ranking of the amount of need at this position? Is this number 1 or is this like
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Is he? Because we didn't really factor in like team need when we did our top 5. We were just kind of doing an overall.
Yeah, if we were gonna say it right now, I think the interior defensive line is number one.
Yep.
Right.
I would
Number two.
corner and linebacker are very close. I would say
Yeah.
linebacker just because of depth issues. Or
Yeah.
corner, we don't have a ton of depth at corner because there's a lot of young guys who are unproven, but
Yeah.
we have enough to where I feel like linebacker might trump it, but just by a little. It's tough. Like, because I would say
I'm pretty in the middle. Obviously, I think there's probably a lot more cornerback talent around our pick than line. I mean, I don't think they even have a linebacker going earlier than pick 23 right now. So chances are we would rather use our first round pick on a cornerback. But I would probably say it's pretty in between those two. And
I
then
would
I
say
say wide
3 are
receiver
kind of.
two
I would say
next.
those. I would say linebacker, corner, wide receiver are all very, very close.
Yeah. I'd put wide receiver a little bit below, but that being said,
Just
I
because we
do
have
think
Justin Jefferson, so you can kind of afford not to.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and Hawkinson.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I do think a wide receiver, if we picked up a wide receiver and he ends up being pretty good, I think that would improve our team overall than any other player we could possibly pick in this draft. 100%. Because we can put if we got a good wide receiver too, we'll double down on our offense. And I think that would make our offense easily top 5 in the NFL, which if we went to go pick a corner or even a defensive tackle or anyone in that position, who knows if they're even starting by week 1 and how much of an impact. Obviously, we got Lewis Seen. He got injured, but we didn't get to see much of an impact from him at all. So I do think if we were to pick a wide receiver 2 in the first round, I do think that position and that pick could make us a better team or at least help win more games, even if there's other positions that's more important for our team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know.
Hey, what's going on, Greg?
Let's see what happened to receivers drafted last year. Are they wasted picks?
And
I don't think so. I think Jalen Naylor is going to have. I think they're going to give Jalen Naylor a fair shake this season to see what he's got. Honestly,
yeah, and we like Jalen Naylor. I don't know for sure. I'm not
right.
He's too late of a first round pick, or not a first round pick. Too
Right.
late of a pick to just know like, hey, this guy's going to be a wide receiver too. But he could be. He could be a diamond in a rough.
Like,
and I know
you're not looking at him as like we have Jalen Naylor, so we're fine. We don't need to worry about receiver. Like,
yeah,
it's still in the back of your
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
KJ, we're still not sold that KJ is a legitimate number 2 option yet. So
Definitely
like,
not sold. Number
no.
3, I like him as number 3 for sure at this point. But
And this is true too. In the interior defensive line will also improve our DBs and just a better scheme overall that actually allows.
We need it bad. We seriously need interior defensive lines. It's not even funny. We needed it before Delvin Tomlinson left. Now we need it even worse, obviously. And he was our best pass rusher, and he wasn't.
And the thing that kind of sucks about that too is letting him go is you gave up run stopping and a little bit of pass rushing as well. So now you really feel like we're really lacking in the interior defensive line because now you don't have that get after it pass rusher guy and you don't really have a big run stopper guy either. I mean, you have Tonga, but I'm not sold on Tonga.
We're not. Yeah,
Tonga
there's
yet.
just a lot we got to do, man. It's tough. What the fuck happens if JJ gets hurt? I mean, I guess it's going to be a Hawkinson show, I guess.
Yeah.
It would not be good. That's why it would be really nice if we come away with a draft with more wide receiver talent. What's going on, Justin? What's going on? We just called out your channel and everything. Again, everybody who's in here who hasn't already, I'm assuming y'all have, but go check out Purple and Gold for days. Subscribe to his channel, like all his videos, all that good stuff, just like y'all should be doing with our videos. If the Vikings could trade JJ and get this is a good pick. This is a question I've seen. I haven't answered yet. If the Vikings could trade JJ and get number 1 pick, would you do it?
Not this year.
This year for sure.
No, absolutely
not this year for sure. If Caleb Williams is there next year, God, I don't want to. I love wide receivers and I love JJ so much, but man, if we knew Caleb Williams would be a for sure thing, I would probably do it, even though I hate saying it out loud.
Well, if we were at a point where we had to blow up the rest of the team and JJ was kind of like, get me to a winner, and you kind of had to do something with him, like you were forced into it, and there was a quarterback there that is like the next guy, like if it was like a Trevor Lawrence year, you probably do think about it at the very least. But
what's going on, Charlie Hustle? Welcome in, man. Need to gain as many second and third rounds through trades. Dalvin, Desarius, and Daniil. We need more picks, 100%. And we're not hearing a lot. It's funny because we're not hearing a lot about Daniil at all. Obviously, we have a cap situation. I don't know. He'll be our biggest asset in trading. Who knows what will happen with that? Zadarius Smith, I really don't know because there was a lot of stuff going on. It was like for sure he's gone, and then all of a sudden it went completely quiet. And then Delvin Cook, we just got news today that his shoulder's looking good, his rehab's looking good. I can't imagine. We just paid Madison.
Who put that news out there about Delvin Cook's shoulder being better? Who pushed that to Ian Rappaport trying to get him out of Minnesota? I don't know.
Yeah. So there could be. I'm expecting some trades, man, and we could be trading up and getting some more of these guys. You guys should really get Patreon set up so we can donate and show our love for content. Gary, we appreciate it so much. Hey, we're working on our 1,000 subscribers. We could probably create something like that, but otherwise we're working towards that 1,000 subscribers. Once we get that, we can do the what's that called? What's that chat thing called? What is it?
Super chat?
Yeah, super chat. We can get the super chat going.
Where streamers basically ignore your comments unless you pay for us to read them. I'm kidding. We won't do it.
No, so we're gonna work towards the 1,000 subscribers probably before we start throwing. His agent is exactly right. Before we start asking for money and stuff like that, we got work to do, man. We got work to do. We're gonna keep making this better. Once we get 1,000 subscribers, we'll start putting that out there and working more towards that kind of stuff. We also have other stuff in mind as well that will I think we're going to be coming out with an email letter and all that good stuff. You guys are just set up of email, then you get a lot more of the money that's a good point though. That's a good point.
But then we gotta mention during the video, like, if you guys want to donate to our Venmo, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. We'll get there. Right now we're just focused on making better content and talking to you guys and building this up. We'll get there. We're not going to get too greedy yet. Not too greedy yet, but we appreciate it all so much. And once we get to 1,000 subscribers, I think we'll feel like we deserve it a little bit, a little bit more, But we got some exciting stuff coming here.
Absolutely.
We got some exciting stuff coming here. I'm in your corner and we'll be the first to sign up. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's something that's going to come out somewhat soon is I am going to create some sort of newsletter. So that will definitely be out somewhere soon. And I'll let you all know about that. And we got some good stuff with that too. I want to give bigger giveaways on that newsletter and all that kind of good stuff. So appreciate the love for sure, Gary, and everybody else in here. It's big time for us. It's all good, man. Hey, we're in here to have fun, talk to you guys, and talk about Vikings football. That's number one. As long as that stuff works out well and we're happy doing all that stuff, the money and all that things will come with it. And
absolutely.
We're happy to wait on that stuff. Anyways, back to the wide receiver stuff. Where are you at with Jalen Hyatt? And we have JSN on the board here.
So I like Jalen Hyatt for a lot of the same reasons you do. He's that deep threat. He reminds me a lot of Percy Harvin. Maybe not. I mean, they didn't use him the same way that Percy was used at Florida, but yeah, I like a lot what I see from Jalen Hyatt. So I would be pumped if we could find a way to get him in like the second roundish, somewhere like that. But you want to? I mean, I know. Speaking of overrated, underrated, your guy at number 4, I believe if I'm not wrong, you think he's a touch overrated, correct?
JSN.
Yeah.
So let me shout out. Hey, Paul, what's going on, man? Welcome back in, sir. Greg, if I ever meet you guys, I'll definitely donate to your bar bill. Hey, man, I don't know if you want to do that. That thing's going to be pretty hefty if we're around. Back to JSN. It's not so much that I think he's overrated. I think could come in and be a fantastic slot receiver. I think looking at him, I think it's just the kind of player we least need on our wide receiver corp. Is a slot route running type of guy that doesn't really beat the defense deep, because that's what we really need. Though I do think there's a chance that he can be extremely special in that slot position. And at the end of the day, especially at a position like wide receiver, I don't think it matters. Overall, I don't think it really matters what kind of wide receiver you have. You just want really good ones. And I think there's a chance that JSN could be the top wide receiver in this draft based on just skill level. And he plays the slot so well that it would be a big beneficial to us, potentially.
Yeah, I agree.
What's going on, Skull for Life? Again, everybody who's in here, hashtag Skull in the comments. Just like every live show, Justin Jefferson rookie card giveaway. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. If you're watching it now or if you're watching it later, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, back to JSN. I don't know. That's where I'm at with JSN. I think he could be a really good slot receiver. He's not beating anybody deep. His 4.5 whatever 40 time was definitely a good sign for for what he can do, but it was obviously really obvious that means he isn't going to be beating defenses deep very often. What's your thoughts on JSN?
I really like JSN. You know, there was a time when people thought Justin Jefferson was just a slot guy coming to the league as well, and he turned into obviously a little more. Like, I'm not going to sit here and compare JSN to Justin Jefferson, because obviously JSN had 1 year of solid production, because obviously his last year he was hurt, but that 1 year was fantastic. What did he have, like 1,500 yards, and he broke the college record for receiving touchdowns in a season or something like that. And obviously playing with who he played with there, with the likes of Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, like that helps for sure. But
and the quarterback Stroud.
Yeah, absolutely. And was Marvin Harrison Jr. on the team too? On the team as well?
This past season, not the season before.
Season before he wasn't. But anyway, yeah. I'm a huge GSN guy. Like, yeah. I think he's really good.
Casey just boxed me.
What
do you mean by that, Gary? What do you mean by that? Too evil, too old. What would you guys? This is a good question. Too evil. You're coming in with some nice questions right now. What would you think if the Vikings traded one of their picks during the draft for another team's current wide receiver?
It depends on who we're trading for and what that pick is. If we're giving up a third rounder for DeAndre Hopkins, sign me
I'll do that.
Even though he's older and he's cost a lot of money, but
DeAndre Hopkins would be huge, and it's something that we don't have is a player like him. Obviously, he's not going to be that completely deep vertical guy, but he definitely can get it.
Because that was something I heard before I even started, like when I was just a cash fan, instead of being a casual podcast flash fan, is like I was watching other people say like Justin Jefferson is just a slot receiver. So I'm like, I bought in. I'm like, yeah, we don't need it. We have Adam Thielen and then whatever.
But this is a little different because Justin Jefferson ran a 4.4. JSN ran a 4.5 something. Who knows though? I don't know for sure. I don't even know for sure. Just keep Flores for 2 to 3 years. Sorry defense next year. Yeah. I mean, if Flores doesn't if our defense sucks this year, Flores probably isn't getting grabbed as a head coach, so we might be able to get him for 1 more year.
He just has to make it better than it was last year, and that's
all he has to do. No, it's going to be good. We're winning. It's Super Bowl season. It's Super Bowl season next year. Let's go.
Super Bowl. We're winning the World Series, going undefeated. Jamie's already called it. So,
yep, absolutely. Just like last year, I was barely wrong. People were more surprised of how good we did, though. It was closer to my 17-0 than people's like 8 and.
Hey, and I got laughed at for the 13-4 projection by a bunch of people, and guess what? I was spot on with that one.
All right, number 3, Casey has Jordan Addison.
I like Jordan Addison a lot. I think he's going to be really good.
I think he's going to be. So I've already said it because we got. All right, well, we can wait actually, but and I got Jalen Hyatt number 3. I'll go into Jordan Addison when we get up to him. I got Jalen Hyatt number 3. I already said everything I like about him. But yeah, I really have him as my 3rd wide receiver. I think he's that good. But a lot of it, again, is when I make these top 5s, I am kind of looking at it from like, a player that we want across from Justin Jefferson. And Jalen Hyatt is the perfect type of wide receiver. In the perfect world, he comes in and he's that vertical threat he was in college, and everything is great. But
yeah, but I mean, just looking at Jordan Addison's stats, I mean, this last season, he must have been hurt or something. 59 receptions, 875 yards, and 8 touchdowns. But the season before, 100 receptions, 1593, and 17 touchdowns.
Yeah, here I'm gonna bring his stats up once we get to him. Yeah, I'll bring his stats up once we get because I want to let everyone know why. So JSN number 2, Casey already talked about him, and now I have Zay Flowers number 2. So we'll just go to this. Zay Flowers, number 1, is Casey's number 1 wide receiver, and Jordan Addison is my number 1 wide receiver. So, Casey, will you want to tap in on Zay Flowers first?
You got Zay Flowers stats as well?
I'll
pull them both up. We can talk about them both.
All right.
I mean, obviously, Zay Flowers is that smaller, a little bit. I mean, obviously, quite a bit smaller guy, but if you want, I mean, just a guy that can do a little bit of everything to go along with Justin Jefferson, who can also do a little bit of everything, but like. I don't know, man. I think Zay Flowers has a really unique skill set, and I don't know. I think he would mesh pretty well.
So Zay Flowers here, 75.5 grade last year, 12 games played. He had 1,077 yards with 12 touchdowns,
Touchdown
reception
monster,
78,
man.
9 drops, receiving grade versus man coverage, contested catch rate. The big thing is, he's a spark plug. He's a guy that you can do end arounds. You can throw little short passes. He can take it to the house. He can beat people vertically. He's like a do it all type of wide receiver. I mean, if he was a little bit taller, you're seeing him. I don't think he's making it past it, maybe even the top 10. Like, that's how good it is. It really comes down to his height, I think.
Absolutely.
But that's what I really like about him. Jordan Addison, I think he's the smoothest route runner in the class, in my opinion. And, with a lot of these wide receivers, I do think, I think Jordan Addison is the most well-rounded player in the league, in the draft. Well, he ended up running a 4.4 something. He isn't the
4.49,
fastest guy,
yeah.
but same with Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson came in. Justin Jefferson was looked at more of like a slot guy, but he was also looked at as not as fast. That kind of same thing with Jordan Addison. And both of them are fantastic route runners. And something that I see about Jordan Addison that there's always players that I look at, especially with wide receivers, that there's just something different about them, that just something random. And with Jordan Addison, it's his balance. Like, when you look at his tape, there's something, it's so small, but there's something about his balance after he makes the catch that I think is just different than not just the players that I see in this draft, but even looking at the wide receivers in last drafts and a lot of these wide receivers, is you don't really see that type of balance. I don't really know exactly what that will mean for sure in his career, but it just seems like something you see out of him, out of any other wide receiver. And I can't really say that about any of these other players. So that's another reason why I really like him.
Sometimes I wish Delvin Cook had better balance.
A lot of times I wish he had better balance. But no, that's not just the only reason why. Let me bring up some stats here. Boom, right here. So Jordan Addison, and I like his game tape. I like everything like that. But you look at his stats, 81.5 last year. He played 11 games. He kind of had for him an off season, but 875 yards, 8 touchdowns. The year before, obviously 88.8 in 2021 with who he played for Pitt. Yeah, I believe he played for Pitt last year. Almost 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns. Not to mention this year, only two drops this year. 82.4 receiving yards, 76.2 versus man coverage, which is actually one of the top grades that I've seen by any of these wide receivers. And then the contested catch rate's a little bit low, but I think he's the best wide receiver in this draft to me. And in my opinion, I think it's a decent jump, actually, even. So
yeah.
Let me go back to some of these. So that's it for the wide receivers. So that's where we're at right now. If you guys want to keep talking about wide receivers, we can. Otherwise, we'll just answer any of your guys' questions. I know there's some that you really want to go into. I'll start with Too Evil to Hope 2. It'll be a perfect season when Cousins goes out in the first game, and then we go 1-16 and are able to grab. Dude, if you could promise me that if we go 1-16 and we get Caleb Williams, I would be down for that. Otherwise, it does scare me.
See, I'll tell you what. I've always said I don't want a team that's just going to suck and not be fun to watch, whatever. This scenario right here, as much as you don't ever wish injury on somebody, but if it happened, I would, because I just don't want the team to go into the season with the thought process that we're not going to be very good this year. I don't want that to happen. If we go into it, we're like, that's it. Going to the Super Bowl, we're going to win 14 games this year. We're set. And then an injury happens and we suck. I'd be able to take that a little bit better, especially if it did end up becoming Caleb Williams or Drake May, which to be honest, I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't watched a ton of either of them, but I just know that they're the two big names. But obviously, like Caleb Williams, because what was it? So
he's something else.
Because he wasn't for a while. Right? He was the backup at Oklahoma last season, right? Behind Radler.
Yes, but he came out of high school as the number 1 recruit.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. So he was behind another good player that I think he went down with injury, right? I forgot. It wasn't Radler, was it?
I'm pretty sure Spencer Radler.
It was Spencer Radler. Which Radler just kind of played shitty, right? And then, but he came in and was great, and then obviously went to USC and won the Heisman. But there's just something, he has so many abilities that you can't teach with Caleb Williams, especially avoiding pressure and being able to extend plays with his arms. The stuff that I look for and I really want badly out of a quarterback. That's why I salivate towards that guy for sure. Well-rounded dude, yes, for sure.
As does it.
Hold on, we're getting Lance. We're trading down from 23. I know all those rumors, or not rumors, but it said that we were talked to the 49ers. If we got Lance
I'd be
and we
fine with
didn't
that.
have to give up too much, I'm taking that. Especially if we trade Cousins and we got Lance, and if it was a straight up trade, I don't know what they're
Well,
asking for right now.
but here's the thing. If you look at who's got the leverage in the trade negotiations there, you got to give it to the Vikes. If
No,
if
easily.
the 49ers approach you about Kirk Cousins, you
Yeah,
have all the leverage in the world right there. Cuz it's like,
right.
okay, so we don't give you Kirk. What are you left with? You don't believe in Trey Lance cuz you're shopping him. Purdy ain't playing for a while and you got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. So, what do you guys do here? So, if you want a quarterback that'll help this team succeed, here's your guy. Like
Yeah.
you
And
might be able to steal Trey Lance from them.
yeah, you'd be
Honestly,
able to steal trade. That's one thing about it. Like at this point, I honestly, we were talking about Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk. I think there's a real chance that you could trade Kirk Cousins straight up for Trey Lance, or at least not give any more first round picks, maybe a third or something. I think that's a possibility. And if we were to be able to pull that off, we're not. I don't know if 49ers would do it. They spent 3 first round picks to get him. I don't know if they'd be willing to just let it go like that. But if we were able to, we're not committed to Lance either. It's almost like the same idea of getting Hendon Hooker this year in the second round or whatever, but we're not committed. Like if he sucks, we can be like, whatever, we'll go get our quarterback. We could do the same thing if we did that Lance thing. So that's like, it's more of like a calculated risk than like moving up and getting Anthony Richardson or moving up to the top 10 and getting Levis or something like
So
that.
I'll tell you what, if last season didn't work out the way it did for the 49ers with Brock Purdy and him playing as well as he did, I think the front office in some hot water there this offseason.
Yeah. Right.
Because they'd be like, okay, so we have Trey Lance who's coming off an ankle injury, and you guys don't trust him, but you traded 3 first round picks to go get him. Like, what's going on here? You know? Like, I think there'd be a different story if the Purdy thing didn't work out for them last season.
Yeah, 100%. And they would not be able to trade Trey Lance. Now they could if they wanted to. Gary Addison also, but has that dog attitude and swag. If Addison falls to 23, not sure I trade down at all. Man, if Addison's there at 23 and we pick him, I think there's a really good chance he'd be the best player available at that point. I think the one that we're seeing on Mac, the one that's going to be hard, I like Cansey a lot. So if Cansey's there and we were talking about interior defensive linemen, that'd be like the one player I'm like, man. But Addison, I think he's the best one in this draft. And Cy, I don't know if we've seen you in here, man. Welcome in. We appreciate it. I might as well bring this up again. We give away Justin Jefferson rookie cards on all our live shows. All we ask is hashtag Skull in the comments. That's to enter and to subscribe and like our video. That'd be much appreciated. We give this away at the end of the show, all that good stuff. So we appreciate it big time. But Jordan Addison is my guy this year. I have a couple guys in this year's draft, and Addison is one of them. My guy later is Clark Phillips the third. I don't know if we've checked out Clark Phillips the third yet, have we? We'll have to go check him out for sure. But I'm with you on Addison. I think he should be the number 1 wide receiver taken in this draft. So he's mobile, can't be too high.
There you go, Jamie. Correct pronunciation.
What's that? Ballster. Thanks, Gary. Ballster. That's what I was going to say. I like the fact that Jordan Addison has played with Caleb Williams, who's a Heisman level quarterback, so he knows how it feels to play with a top quarterback, just like Jefferson and Chase did. Yeah. For a second, I thought you were going to say like Jefferson and Kirk Cousins, and I said, oh, you're talking about Joe Burrow. Okay, I got you. Yeah. That's a top quarterback right there. Yeah, and he also played with Pickett the year prior to that. But that's another thing too, is Caleb, like, I don't think Pickett is anything like Caleb Williams. So he also proved that he can play with a guy that isn't at that level of Caleb Williams as well. Not just play with him, but he had 1,600 yards and like 17 touchdowns with him. And that's no joke. There's no question that but prior to this season, Addison was looked at as the number 1 wide receiver, and I know why. And it came down a little bit, but I still think he is.
They have Sam Darnold. I forgot about that. The 49ers picked him up.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that, actually. I don't know why we are trying to pick a rookie quarterback when we should just get Jackson, who is a proven one.
I'm iffy on Lamar just because of the money you got to pay him and the injuries. If I've said it a bunch, if we got him, I'd be excited. I'd be curious to see what KLC could do. It's just not what I would want personally, but
I like I like Lamar a lot, but just like Jim Sal says, Lamar wants over 230 million
I
guaranteed.
don't I
That
don't
might
want it
be a
fully.
risk I'm not willing. I like Lamar a lot, but that might be a risk I'm not willing to take specifically because he's not made for our type of offense we run. And a guy like Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson, like we want a guy that can throw him the ball, like proficiently. But don't get me wrong. I think Lamar Jackson's an incredible talent. If we got him, I'd be pumped just like what Casey said. But 230 million completely guaranteed for like 4 or 5 years, it'd be a gamble and a half. But it
I
sure beats Kirk Cousins. I'll tell you that much for
I
damn sure.
loved the report of he doesn't want a fully guaranteed contract. He just wants the guaranteed portion to be larger than Deshaun Watson. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I know. Just
Sure.
John Watson
Sure.
screwed everything up.
Yeah.
KJ,
Scott,
yeah,
we got
what
to
he
point
did.
this up first. Already subscribed. Perfect. Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks,
Appreciate the
brother.
love.
Again, hashtag skull in the comments if you want to try winning a card here, man. For
Yeah.
sure. Anybody else in here? Hashtag
Yeah.
skull. And like the video. Like the
Love
video.
to hear your guys' prediction tonight, how many draft picks we end up with this year. So Jamie and I, we mentioned it before, did a mock draft we just recorded that comes out on Wednesday.
You might as well bring this one up too. Are we trading Cook and Cousins or not? We'll just
Cook
kind of maybe not Cousins. But.
Yeah. I don't think Cousins, unless something huge comes up with getting a quarterback like David. David Ditter is full into this. Like he thinks Cousins gone, we're getting a quarterback. Which if we'll kind of see what happens there. But we traded Za'Darius and Delvin Cook each for one pick. So I could see that happening. A couple player trades where we pick up some picks, and then maybe I personally could see a trade down in the first round if we don't go up and get a quarterback. We got 5. I'm going to say we'll end up with a 7 or 8 personally. I think we'll make it maybe 9 at the most, but I think we'll make it happen where we pick up a couple more.
I think we'll have more than 5.
Yeah.
Unless we were to move up, unless we moved up for a quarterback. If we moved up for a quarterback, I don't know if we'll have any picks for the next 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I'm with Casey on that. My guess is I think if I was going to make a guess, if I was a betting guy, which sometimes I am, I can't say I win that much, but I would say my guess is moving back, gain some picks there. And like you said, we have Za'Darius and Delvin Cook that we have no idea, including Danielle Hunter that nobody's talking about. And there's a great chance that one of those guys gets traded and we get some picks that way. Something's going on. I can't imagine
pick one number. Pick one number. Gary wants one number. I'm going
pick one number, boys.
7. I'm going 7. 7 picks.
I'm going with $1 million just in case he's talking dollars.
For once, I'd love us to go get our own guy and tired of getting used goods. It would be nice, especially with the rookie contract and getting all that type of stuff. John, thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it, man.
What's going on, John?
Happy to see you. What else we got here? Oh,
you guys must be in sales. Some things.
Sort of,
cards,
I guess.
Sell cards. Really. That's about it.
Cards, and I don't really sell much.
Other stuff. I sell all kinds of stuff like that. So I guess we're starting to get there in sales a little bit, but otherwise I'd pick. What number did you pick, Casey?
7 draft picks.
My number's 11. My number's 11.
I think we could turn those 5 picks into 15 7th rounders in honor of Rick Spielman.
That's not a bad idea, man. There's a lot of talent in the 7th round. You mean Brock Purdy went 7th round last year? We picked 5 quarterbacks in the 7th round. You think one of them would do good?
I don't know why people want Lamar on this team. Not saying he's a bad quarterback, but didn't we learn anything from Kirk's ridiculous contract? Draft our own guy, develop him. Well, he's cheap. Exactly. That's kind of where I am. Just because I would like to see, and I think that was kind of the report as well when they didn't extend Cousins, was that there was intrigue about having a quarterback on his rookie contract. Which I know for one season it would hurt with Kirk Cousins' money, but after that, like I think it'd work out well. JD, thanks for jumping in. Hell no to Lamar. I see, and that's the thing. Like everybody thinks when I say hell no to Lamar, it's like, oh, you hate Lamar. You don't think he's any good. It's like I would support. I'm kind of like, I guess you could kind of call me a homer because like whatever they do, I'm for it just because I know I think there's a plan behind it all, and I'm one of those people that will let it play out before I start judging things. Yeah. But like, do I want Lamar on this team? No. If it happened, whatever.
See, I'm like, so hit the peeps, boys. Or hit the peeps, including boys and girls.
Sarah, hit the peeps if you want. I don't know.
Sarah just received my card. Awesome. That's the 3rd card. Maybe you'll win another one tonight. I mean, you already did the back and back thing once. So let's see if that happens again. Back to the Lamar thing though, for me is, and we talked about it before, is I like Lamar. So, I mean, if we got him, I would be pretty pumped. I think the only thing, paying 230 million guaranteed. If it's like a 4 or 5 years completely guaranteed money, man, that's quite the risk. But I think Lamar is a really good player. I think our offense isn't best. I think it'd be great for him. Like, I think our offense would be the best offense he's ever had. But I think our offense is made for a pass first quarterback. So if we were to get him, we would have to, kind of change things around him instead of make things around Hawkinson and JJ, which I would be down with, especially instead of keeping Kirk Cousins. But for sure, then I think we win more games with Lamar Jackson no matter what. I think I'm kind of being picky. I got to say I'm with Lemmy up there, where he's talking about he's ready to get his own guy, and I kind of feel that too. And especially the rookie contract thing. The reason the Vikings are really – that's another reason why Kirk Cousins didn't get this extension is we really want to have that quarterback on a rookie deal so we can afford other positions and stuff too. So I think that's definitely worth thinking about in that.
Right. Yeah, and kind of go with your comment here, like why would you, get use the same amount of picks to go pay a guy like Lamar Jackson instead of trading up and getting a quarterback of your own? I think the big thing about that is the fact that Lamar, say what you will about what he does in the league, he has proven, like former MVP, so much athleticism. Does he need to get better at throwing the football? Yes, but I think that's the argument there, is that he is a proven commodity and he's young, but the injury. Yeah. So that's kind of the one thing there. I've seen a couple of mock drafts and I've seen us getting the quarter from Penn State. Porter Jr. I do like Porter Jr. quite a bit.
I would take that in a heartbeat. John, if he's still in here, he really likes him a lot. And, the more I'm looking at him, that 6'2" height, it is just something we do not have in that cornerback room right now.
I think we should trade back twice in round one if we don't go quarterback. I could see it happening for sure.
Get Hyatt. Just get me Hyatt, please. If we trade back, just get me Hyatt.
We can't get a top-tier quarterback this year. Hooker, DTR is our best bet after Stroud, Young, and Richardson. All of the quarterbacks very risky. Yeah, even a guy like I like Will Levis, but the risk is there, and the risk is even there with Richardson. Like, I feel like Stroud and Young, they're not surefire things either, but they are the safest picks in this draft for sure. Greg's in on Lamar. All right. Vikings are bringing in Brian Branch for an interview. That's like the all-around safety, or the safety defensive back out of Alabama. I've actually heard some really good things about him. You watched the Twins game. It's a blowout. We were checking in on the score before we started.
What's the score right now?
Did they bust the game open a little bit more?
Yeah.
By the way, this is a Vikings podcast, I know, but I said it before the season, after the Arise Pablo Lopez trade, I said I was very cautiously optimistic about this Twins team. So far it's starting out hot, but I believe and trust in Rocco Baldelli to find a way to screw this season up, and he will, because Rocco's not my favorite, but what do you do?
Yeah, dude. Speaking of that, Dave from Minnesota Sports Talks there right now watching this game. So I guess he's a good luck charm too. He needs to go to more Vikings game. He was at the Miami Dolphins games last year as well. So he ended up winning that. You guys think we can get a second round pick somehow?
Yes, trading down. I think trading down in the first round would net us a second round.
Yeah, trading down in the first round, it's possible to trade up. I really do. There's so many guys I like in the second round. It actually makes me angry doing these mock drafts and seeing all these players in the second round that I think would be great addition. I think this is going to be a really good second round mock draft. So I'm hoping we figure it somehow. And even if we have to, we might have to trade away some players from the draft. And, we've already talked about, but there's a few that we can definitely do that with.
And I agree with this as well. We're not a Super Bowl or a quarterback with Super Bowl. We need cap space filled the roster. Say what you will about the quarterback position, but the biggest issue on this team is the defense right now. And the defense needs fixing before we can do anything else there. When was our last good drafted quarterback? Culpepper. I saw something today that we haven't taken a quarterback, and like the only team that hasn't taken a quarterback in like the top 10 in the last however many years or something like that.
I think it's like 20 something years, or I don't even know. It might be ever. Actually. I think ever.
Teddy might have been, if not injured, but we'll never know.
Yeah, I like Teddy. I was a huge Teddy guy.
Yeah, I thought he was taking a turn for the better. I remember watching him in that preseason game against the Chargers, and you're just like, you got the feeling like he was going to take that next step. Let me propose it. I gotta agree. Lemmy's coming in with some
Lemmy's coming with some heat today, guys.
Absolutely love it, man. Heat. Trade back to get a second.
Ryan, what's going on? That's my cousin right there. Trade back.
With a good idea. I'm fine with that.
Back, get Hooker, Super Bowl bound. That's kind of what we've been talking about. That's kind of where we're at right now, instead of trading way up for a Levis or Anthony Richardson, which would cost a shit ton. But no matter what the Vikings do, if they went up and grabbed their guy, even if it was Levis and we traded a bunch of first rounders or whatever, I would respect it regardless and just hope that it worked out our way. Dang, 10-1 Twins. Let's go.
How else? I gotta see how else they scored here. I know
Now
that
we
they
need the
had
Timberwolves to do something. The Timberwolves are choking right now.
Timberwolves are garbage.
I know they need to not do that. That pisses me off.
Let's gotta see what we got here for how we scored.
Honestly, we need to focus on developing our trenches on both sides. So when we get our future quarterback next year, he'll have a good foundation around him to help him flourish. It's time for the future.
By the way, Jamie.
Definitely.
Remember we were talking Trevor Larnach before we hopped on here.
Yeah.
Home run.
Yep. Dude, I was a little. It was interesting seeing him batting fourth at the start of the season, but it's looking like it's working out.
And the one run for the Marlins batted in by one Luis Arias.
Of course. Damn it, we wanted the shutout.
2 for 4, hitting 550 this season, but it was an RBI single because that's what Luis Arias does. But I still love Luis Arias. Anyway, small baseball interjection there. I know it's a football podcast. We'll keep going there.
Hey, Minnesota. I mean, we are GG Sports podcast for now.
For now. Hint, hint.
There might be a little bit. There might be a little change in the future here that we'll talk to you all about later. But yeah, I 100% agree. We need to figure out the trenches. Definitely defensive line. The defensive line it's garbage right now. And I'm very optimistic of a fan, and I hate calling anything really garbage, but I really think our defensive line needs massive help, and we haven't figured that out yet. Cap is a myth. Look at the Browns. They are able to pay a bunch of people along with Watson. Yeah, I don't know.
Watson had like a $2 million cap hit last season because they knew he was going to miss some games or something like that.
Yeah, and they're still. I mean, they got a decent team around him. They're deep. They got some star players on defense. Their offensive line's good. Yeah, I don't know. Every single year, it seems like the cap is less important. Like this year, we're probably over the cap right now.
we're very last in cap. I think we're at like 1 million or something like that. So we still have to make some moves. Which, speaking of getting more picks, Delvin Za'Darius trades could help. If they decide to trade Danielle Hunter, like whatever, we'll see.
I went to the Bills game. It was my first Vikes game. I'm going to Minnesota this season. Let's go, Skull. Make sure you go, man. I'm taking any luck. If anybody goes to games and wins, like, I'm on board. I'll call you lucky, whatever you want. Let's make it happen. I know Casey's never been to a losing game as well. Though he did skip out on the Colts game, so I don't know what that. You can take that for yourself, I guess. But the Vikings have never. Let's go. I was at Packers, Cardinals, and the Colts. Packers first game, Justin. Packers first game.
Let's hope so.
I'm just gonna say it was Packers. Yeah, I think so because that's when SK came up and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think Justin went 3-0 last year, probably. Let's trade back twice if possible.
Yep.
I agree. When is the last time we were 6-10 with that record? We could get a top 10 pick.
2013.
In 2013, we had a 12th last year. We had a 12th round pick last year. We could have did something with it. We should hit a game together day. It would be fire. Heck yeah, man. I mean, I'm in Colorado right now. I travel all over the place, but I definitely would it would be cool to get a bunch of all of us together and go to a game and stuff. I think that'd be super dope. Lemmy hitting home runs. Lemmy's just on one today, dude. He came in swinging today. He needs to go on.
Lemmy's out here hitting more home runs than Joey Gallo right now.
And Joey Gallo has 3 on the season, boys. Let's go. How far would the Vikings have to go in order to get a second round? How far? Oh, in order to get a second round pick, though. My guess, well, you could trade right back into the second round pick, right in the second round, and they automatically get a second round pick. Obviously, I'd want more than that. It just depends. I don't think we're going to, obviously, we've seen what happened last year. We went from 12th to 32 and barely got a second round pick or whatever happened there. Obviously, there's no quarterbacks ahead of us. So that was kind of other than Pickett. So that was kind of the reason there wasn't a lot of value there. My guess is that pick 23, all the main quarterbacks will probably be gone. So I don't know. We'd probably have to go pretty far back to gain another second. But if we could gain a second and a third, and then we were able to maybe trade back up into the second as well, that's always a possibility.
Yeah.
You damn Skippy. How many cornerback, wide receiver, DL would need to get picked prior to 23 to get you to trade down? Who would you not pass up? I'm not passing up Addison. I'm not passing up Cansey. I don't want to pass up Flowers. Cornerbacks, Joey Porter would be really hard to pass up.
But But if there's a group of those guys all there,
Yeah.
or if you trade down like 4 spots, you could still get one of
Yeah,
them,
that would
then
be
you're gonna
best case
do
scenario.
it. But I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
talking like this is the only guy left at this spot that you want, do you pass on it? It
I
would
would
all depend on
it'd be
who's
hard
there and
for me
how you're
to.
and where you're trading.
They would have to promise me that we trade down and we still get Hyatt and maybe Hooker. That's what I would need. Otherwise, I would say, yeah, Joey Porter, Addison, Flowers. If that Quentin Johnson, even though I'm not the biggest fan or whatever, he was there, I probably wouldn't. It'd be hard for me to pass on him just because everybody else likes him so much. Cansey's the defensive lineman. That it would be for me. Otherwise, out of those players, if none of them are there, we absolutely trade down, in my opinion. Like, no questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
We get Lance and a third for Kirky Boy. I will do that in a heartbeat. Make it happen. Quezzy, if you're watching this right now, exactly what David Ditter said. I know you're watching, so just go do it. Just go make it happen.
I mean, that's the thing, because you have him for a season on his rookie contract, or 2 seasons, is it? No, I think this would be his 3rd season, so you'd have him
This is
2
the
for
3rd season
sure,
coming up. Yeah,
with an option for the 5th year.
Yep.
Like
Dude, in a heartbeat.
If he doesn't
In
do
a
anything these
heartbeat.
next 2 seasons, then you move on. If
Then you
not,
just get your next quarterback.
But yeah, but you can sell the fact that you're still trying to compete while looking towards the future with a cheaper contract.
Yeah, and I talk about the Hooker thing. Like I think the smart play is probably, because we don't want to trade way up, is to trade back and getting Hooker, just because we're not committed to him for the future if we don't think he's that guy. Yep. I think Lance would be the better version of that. I would rather go get Lance in this scenario, and if he's not our guy, we can still get our quarterback soon, because we're not committed to him long term, because we didn't, obviously, especially if we get a 3rd round pick out of it as well. Am I crazy? Shouldn't we just go all in on O-line using all but one of our picks on, if possible? I don't know, man. I mean, our tackles are completely good. Our tackles are good.
The guard play is suspect for the type of offense that we have.
Yeah, so something there we should probably do, but we still, I don't know. It's hard. And then obviously, what's his name on the right guard?
Ingram.
It's just his 2nd year. So, I mean, there's a chance that he improves a lot as well. I'm not ready to move on from Ingram yet, but obviously something needs to happen with that O-line, and you know, you're kind of banking on improvement, which isn't the safest thing all the time. But can you see a blockbuster trade with Vikes during, before, or after? I feel like during draft. That's
kind of what, kind of going into what Skull Mafia and Justin were saying here too, is how they can see a big move happening, which I could see it. Like I've said this every podcast. I've said this to Jamie when we're off air talking. I've said it in videos. I've said it live streams, that like, if the guy you want is there, and like you look at this guy and like, this is a guy, like Kevin O'Connell says, I could sculpt this guy into the next big thing, and Quasi agrees with it, then go get him. Like, don't panic yourself 100%. Into having to pick a quarterback that you don't want earlier. But
yes,
if you see
Christian Ponder,
if you see a guy that you like and it's going to cost you to go get him, do it.
Yeah, that's my scenario. If we go up and grab a quarterback in this draft, I feel very confident it's someone they really want.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like we just need a quarterback, and especially we have Kirk Cousins for another year, whatever. So if we trade up for a quarterback, I can feel very confident this isn't just like we need a quarterback. It's we like this guy so much that we're willing to bet our future on it. And I'd get behind that no matter what, regardless of which one of those 4 quarterbacks it is. Unless, I mean, if we trade up for like Hendon Hooker or something, it'd be kind of sketch maybe. But
even if we take Hooker at 23, I wouldn't be thrilled.
You wouldn't be thrilled, or you wouldn't be mad?
I wouldn't be thrilled.
You said thrilled?
I would not be thrilled. I would not like it. I would not like Hooker at 23.
Oh, okay. I thought you were sorry. Yeah. I would rather
too rich.
I don't think if someone's coming off their ACL and is a player like him coming from a college that's not like pro style offense, I don't think you pick him in the 1st round.
Right.
I think
there's a rumor out there that there's NFL execs that don't think he makes it out of the 1st round.
Could be, man, because he does see. I see his talent. I see his talent.
And you have a sit year with him. So if you're a team that isn't ready to, you don't think he's gonna be ready yet, you have a year where you can sit and you can use the excuse of the bad knee. So yeah, man, I'd be fine with that.
Where was I at with this? The only game I've seen in the US Bank Stadium was a Lions game where we lost and Dylan had his first major injury, plus a Chungus neighbor was pushing
That
into
was
my
yeah,
seat.
that was the NFC title game here where I'm like, oh god, we're screwed. Like Bradford plays like
Too evil, too hope. You got to try
Bradford
again,
balls.
man. You got to try again.
Bradford just balled out in that first game, and then
Yeah.
the injury and yeah, man. Yeah, this I agree with. If Hooker never got hurt, he
Oh,
would be.
wait. Hold on. T leaves, boys. Why did we get blocking tight end and extend him? That's an offensive set for a young mobile quarterback. The blocking tight end thing is a little like that's a little bit more confusing, but it does sound like this guy might have actually some offensive talent.
But I think
CJ
he's
Ham
saying
was a
we're
no.
loading up for a Richardson type.
Yeah, CJ
Is what
Ham
he's
was a
thinking.
no-brainer. Pro Bowl fullback, best fullback in the NFL, my top 5 player in the NFL probably. So I think you had to extend CJ Ham no matter what. My favorite play of this offseason, to be completely honest.
If Hooker never got hurt,
No bias.
he'd be picked before Levis. I agree. I think a lot of people, the age thing
I
is
mean,
whatever, but he's a quarterback. They can play till they're 40.
yeah,
Like
he was our number 3 quarterback after Shroud and Bryce Young. So
the arm strength, the touch, the fact that he was leading the number 1 team in the nation for most of the season, like, yeah, pretty good.
hashtag skull for JJ rookie card. Yes, again, hashtag skull. Everybody in the comments for the Justin Jefferson rookie card. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. While you're at it, go check out Purple and Gold for days and subscribe to his channel as well. Hashtag skull for a great draft this year. Let's get it right. Dude, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited for this draft. Like it's going to be something feels like it's brewing. Just like you're saying, like 50-50 chance that we might move up for a quarterback, but something big feels like it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Yeah.
So it makes you so excited. So hopefully we don't get disappointed.
Yeah.
Draft.
I'm always afraid to say it because I feel like I'm just going to get gaslit for it. But like, I agree. Like, I feel like we're set in the secondary now, to be honest. We've already drafted a safety and cornerback last season. We haven't seen what they can do. Hopefully on the floors they can develop. I agree with that. And
I think that's a fair point.
And bringing in Murphy solidifies a veteran spot. Caleb Evans,
a little bit.
No matter how you feel about a Caleb Evans on Twitter, the guy did show some talent last season before he got hurt.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot there with him. I think that Andrew Booth, I know a lot of people have already given up on Andrew Booth. I think there's still potential there once he gets a better defensive coordinator and has a season where he's not going to be hurt. Like, I think there's a ton to like with him. I would maybe like to see one more vet or like a mid to late round guy, but D-line for sure. Because like I said, we lost, like we don't have that big body in the middle. Like Kyrus Tonga, we still don't know. But I guess with a rookie, you don't know either. But Kyrus Tonga, who really knows? And we don't have that defensive interior, the guy that can get after the passer. So I agree with this 100%. I think we need to focus on the defensive line.
I 100 defensive line is the biggest hole. I think that has to be absolute. If Kansi's there, you just take him. Cornerback, safety. We're good at safety. There's no question in my mind. I don't think we pick a safety. We got Scene, we got Bynum, we got Harrison Smith's back. Cornerbacks, it's young. Like, yeah, our veteran presence is Murphy, but he's 26. So that's not anything like too crazy from a veteran. You still got Harry back there, which is really good no matter what in the secondary. But we do have so much young talent that I'm not on Andrew Booth at all. I'm still like, he was so hyped coming. I still think he's going to be one of the best cornerbacks at getting interceptions coming out of last year's draft. And he was so hyped in the offseason, and we just didn't get to see. He was injured a lot, as long as he's healthy anyways. So there's a lot of unproven talent that does make me worry, but I also know we have so many young, good talent that if one of those players just steps up, I feel a lot better about it. And I definitely think there's a good chance that we go into season exactly how our cornerbacks are, and they beat a lot of people's expectations. So I don't think it's a number one for sure. But if we could always use more bodies there, just because we're not positive if that's what it's going to be.
Another Minnesota Twins home run. 11-1.
Hey, it's Minnesota season, baby. Championships, here we come. This year, Vikings, Timberwolves somehow sneaking in playoffs.
The Wild are playing really well.
It's happening. It's our time. We're not going to see any disappointment ever again in the history of Minnesota sports. Ham to man, let's go, JD. He already knows. JD knows. That's my guy right there. I was at TCF Stadium, not freezing on an upper lip game. I was at the TCF versus Seattle in the playoffs, and that game sucked. I kind of liked being outdoors. But that was like one of the coldest games ever, and obviously sitting there right before Blair Walsh is about to kick. Everybody's ready to celebrate after freezing our asses off. And instead, we just had to walk our frozen asses back to our car in sadness. That was one of the most brutal games I ever went to in my experience. But I actually really liked the CCF thing and being outdoors. And it keeps your beer cold, which was definitely a huge positive for sure. School Mafia IQ. We are set at O-line. We got Bradbury back. Just kidding. We can't have our pocket quarterback get hit and sacked as much as we did last year. Trenches need improvement big time. It's hard to say we should go back into the season with exactly how we had it last year. But I don't know. I think we have much bigger needs than that, in my opinion, especially on the defensive side of the ball and defensive line. I would put wide receiver 2 over any other offensive position, in my opinion, at this point.
He 2 people hope. He had the little he had the JK in there. I don't think he was saying the line was set. He did say it at first. I think he said JK in his comment. My leg. I'm a very bouncy person, and I gotta pee, so it's just not.
I'm so pumped the Vikings logo will pop up in the top 5 for their guy. Yeah, let's go. Definitely. This season is my favorite time of the season since I was a child in 76 season. Dude, the draft is so fun. That's why I love doing finding out who our favorite wide receivers are, each position, and going in. That's one of my favorite things about doing this podcast is we definitely stepped our game up in looking into prospects and things like that. So going into the draft, we'll just know a lot more about these players, especially in the first few rounds for sure, which is always really exciting and fun.
What do you guys think? Chances are 2022 draft is a complete bust. I don't think so. I love, ever since we drafted him, I love Lewis Cine. I think he's gonna play really well. I think, like I said, I think Booth is gonna, if nothing else, just become a serviceable corner. So I agree with JD here. I still have a lot of high hopes as well.
Yeah, I would say I like Lewis Cine a lot. Like the stacked body scene, the way he presents himself, I love that. Obviously, we have a lot to look at. Andrew Booth was obviously somewhat of a disappointment last year. Hopefully, we see that step up. Ingram played the entire season as a second-round guard, which is still impressive in its own right. Obviously, we need to see a lot more to consider him a good guard and make that pick worth it. We got the best punter in the league in this draft, so that's a huge positivity. But if I was going to give instant grades for right now, I'd give that draft a C. I would give that draft a C, in my opinion, and it could grow, but that's where I'm at with that.
It's hard to grade a draft after one season, especially when nobody really played.
Are you drunk, Greg? Which one are you talking about, or which thing did we say? I know it's not mine. You're not talking about my tag. I know that for damn sure. I still have high hopes for last year's drafts. Yeah.
Oh, what do you got, Lemmy? Hitting this hard again. From the moves we've made in the offseason, I believe KOC is going to run the ball more. We re-signed him, got a blocking tight end. Defense is our weakness, so running successfully can help you deal fresh. Absolutely. And I know that I think he'd kind of said that after the season last year that he didn't feel like they ran the ball enough. So I agree. I do think they are setting up to be much more of a running football team this year.
Yeah. Okay. Arrays for the Marlins just flied out to end the game. How poetic. Yeah. It would have been perfect if Lopez pitched tonight, but he's going to be pitched Wednesday. So it could be a sweep. That game could be a sweep, and maybe it's Lopez striking Arias out for that game. That'd be fantastic. We'll see what's up. I had to do this crap myself. Molding with your takes makes it much more enjoyable. And it's the same with all you guys. You guys popping in here and giving us players that you guys like and that we go back and look into ourselves. It helps so much because that's the one thing, there's so many players. We have to pay attention to the ones in the beginning of the draft. It's hard to grind through later parts of this draft and these later prospects. So it's so nice when there's people in here pushing their gems towards us, and we can go check them out on our own time and kind of see how they are in our opinion.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. Because I mean, when we first started this, we'd get 6-7 viewers. When we got 10, we're like, oh God, we're doing so well today. Look at
Yeah,
us
dude,
now,
it's no,
21.
it's nice, man. It's nice. We appreciate you all in here,
Absolutely, yeah,
100%.
it's a lot of fun.
It's cool,
Much
man. The
more.
whole Vikings community we've created with all the other guys like Purple Pocket and Purple Go for Days, Minnesota Sports Talk, Purple and Skull, all those, and you guys popping into all our channels, like all this stuff. We've created this little group of people that's been fantastic, and everybody's awesome. So you can't. It's just been great. It's been great.
By the way, 21 viewers, 21 likes. All is right with the world at this point. 22 viewers, 21 likes. The one person that hasn't hit like yet, do it.
Yeah, hit that like button. Whoever just jumped in here, we're giving away a Justin Jefferson rookie card. All we ask is for you to like the channel and hashtag Skull in the comments and subscribe to the channel before you leave. Come on, just do it. JD's in here. He'll let you know for sure.
Yeah.
Purple Gang, let's go. Justin, I still believe we need to go back to the 4-3-D with guys we have.
Yeah.
It's hard thing because I don't really know. Like, I want to trust Flores coming in to change. I know last year did not look good at all.
We got 22 likes and 22 viewers. Thank you. Whoever the last person was, I thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah. We'll take it. I just don't really know. Like, there's a scheme problem. So I'm like, is it the 3-4 or was it Donatel? I don't know for sure. I think we'll find out for sure this year, but I just don't see us going back to that. I hate to say it, but Kirk will barbecue deer booty eating ass going to have the best season of his career and possibly make a deep run in the playoffs to where the Wills will actually want to re-sign him.
Oh God, Lemmy, you've just done it. You've just opened up that can of worms an hour.
Yeah. Man, a deep playoff run. If I got to see it to believe it out of Kirk Cousins, but if that happens, if he wins a Super Bowl, you pay him whatever you want. I don't even care. Just give me that Super Bowl for now. I'll deal with Kirk Cousins for a couple years or whatever. But I don't know, man. I think especially if they get him a wide receiver too, Kirk Cousins could have his best year, but he's also 35. He's only getting older.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice words from Justin here. 100%. We're all in agreement with that for sure. Keep watching, keep liking, keep commenting. It makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah. It's awesome.
What do we got? Skull Mafia. That's what makes me think Hunter will be traded. When you have a great player like Hunter, you don't hear nothing about him. Something's coming. And that is the one thing that's weird. Because I know some other people that I listen to, they say like when it comes to like negotiations and contract stuff, not hearing anything can be a good thing because it means that it's going well and not, one side or the other isn't trying to like negotiate through the media. But also it is strange that because everything seems to be on good terms with Daniil and no one said anything. So it's either an extension or a trade. And I don't think it's going to be one of those like hostile trade situations. Like I think they're working, like they're going to work as hard as they can to get the most that they can out of Daniil. I would think something's got to be solved by the draft because if you're going to trade him, you're going to want to pick this year, especially in a year where you're hurting on draft picks. And someone will give up a first rounder for Daniil Hunter. So,
resign Kirko, and then I'll go. That's never gonna happen. But if I did, I would. If we won a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins, like that's the guy. I don't even care. That's the guy.
Pay him the money.
But I don't see it.
Career. I don't even give a shit.
I don't see him doing it. I don't know. I could see it possibly being his best statistical season, maybe, or even just his best. I don't know. We'll see. If they try to re-sign Kirk Cousins, I'm going to put a hit out on him. Tanya Harding is still alive, and she knows how to get things done.
Tanya will bite for the right price.
Tanya will bite for the right price.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I don't want to re-sign Kirk Cousins. No, I would do – the only way I would do it is if we already know it's not going to happen, is if we were to re-sign him for a 1-year extension. So that means this year and then the next year, no trade clause, and then he has what Lemmy said was his best season, and we don't resign. He goes deep into playoffs. He's not winning. I can't say he's going to win a Super Bowl. It's just crazy. That's crazy talk to me. But have that happen. His trade value is as high as ever, and we can have a chance to trade him. But I don't think he's signing an extension without a trade clause, and we obviously don't want to only sign him to a 1-year extension. But if we could get some value, I want to figure out how we can get some value out of Kirk Cousins.
Yep. But okay. Listen to Skull Mafia here. If you if Rap even hears this is going on, he's going to jump in here and we're going to be.
Yo, Paul, don't make us get PP. Paul knows. Paul knows. I've seen Paul in Raps. Yeah, Purple Pocket. He'll come in swinging for sure. He'll come in swinging. Cousins has to look good for the camera in a contract year. Yeah, I mean,
let's get everyone calling him Kurt and not Kirk. That's wonderful.
So let's get everyone
twice in the same interview. I never did correct it, so it must be his name. Wasn't that Florio? Didn't Florio call him Kurt?
Is that what it was? That's not everyone calls him Kurt. Curb stomp.
Curb.
Justin knows. Curb stomp. Oh shoot, we're clicking it. Curb stomp. Yeah, he already knows. They
Win the
all.
Super Bowl with Cousins.
Yeah.
I get a Cousins tattoo and still pack his bags for next.
What's going on, my worthless opinion? Welcome in. If we, what do you say? If we,
Sarah. Yeah. Well, you're in here all the time, so we can't really blame you. But
I'll
hey,
take
now
it.
we're at
We'll
21
take it. Better
viewers,
late than
23
never.
likes. So that's.
Hey, we got another one. We got another one.
We're good. We're good, man. We can get value for Cousins and make him the water boy.
I don't know if he could do that. Like,
could he get out there fast enough though? He's not the most mobile guy in the world. You got to
be
the
regular season. He'd be a great water boy, but do you really trust him to give the water boy to the real quarterback in the Super Bowl? I don't know, man. I don't think he can do it. He might choke. He might slip on the field or something, and then our quarterback dies from dehydration. Yeah. Oh no, man.
But anyway, we've been on for like an hour and 20 minutes. Pretty good. Probably try to maybe get the giveaway
we'll
out
run
of the
this
way.
Thing. We appreciate you all again. You know, tomorrow I believe Justin and Minnesota Sports Talk will be going live for their show Under the Lights tomorrow at, I forget the time, Justin. I always forget. I think it's 7 Central or 8 Central. I forget the exact time. And then our show with Dave, the Skull Experience on Wednesday at 7 Central. Go check that out as well. All that good stuff. So 6:30 Central for theirs tomorrow. So tap into that for sure. US Bank Stadium needs the toilets to be plunged and the troughs to be wiped out, which would be perfect job for Cousins. It'd be solid. I don't know. Not playoffs, though. As long as if we're away games, maybe. I don't know.
That's crazy. Kirk Cousins has made enough money in his career probably to pay off the entire $280 million renovations that need to be done to US Bank Stadium.
Yeah, I know. I forgot about that. Man, where's
how many people got in the? How many people?
I don't even need that. Just hire me on as a janitor. I'll do that. If the Vikings hired me on to wipe out the urinals and stuff, okay, I'll do it.
Janitor by day, stripper on a houseboat
on a houseboat by night. I'm down for that. I think I'd be a great great Lake Minnetonka stripper, to be honest.
I'll take that bet. If Kirk wins the Super Bowl, I will get a Kirk tramp stamp. We're holding you to that. That.
Hey, I'll do it. If we get it, I'll get a Kirk tramp stamp too. 100%.
Oh boy.
I have to see it to believe it, though.
15 entries. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. 21 viewers, 22 viewers, 15 entries. That's pretty solid.
It's early. Let's bash Kurt. You guys are fun.
I'm sure between you guys, you could cover the 280 million. Yeah, pocket. Let me go dig through the couch cushions.
Yeah. Hey, once we get that super chat rolling.
Yeah, there we go.
And then we'll talk about it. We got a deal, Sarah. We got a deal. Kirk Cousins. We'll get Kirk O'Chain's cousins on there. Sarah, yeah, go check out Justin. Sarah, if Kirk wins the Super Bowl with the Vikings,
that's the deal. It has to be with the Vikings. That's fair.
Yeah, then don't like free shit. All right, let's run this thing. Justin Jefferson rookie card. We got 23 likes. I'll let hashtag Skull in the comments. Anybody that's in here and wants to win this Justin Jefferson rookie card, hashtag Skull in the comments. I'm going to run this at 8:26 Central. 8:20. 1 minute. Less than 1 minute now. That's when I'm hitting that run button. Skull for life. You're already in there. You are in there. And again, guys, we're going to do the draft show. I'm going to talk to Justin and the other guys and figure out exactly what our plan is for the draft show. But I have a PSA 10 Justin Jefferson rookie card that's worth like $70 or something. I want to give away on that. So everybody mark that in their calendars. I know you guys already have that time off because it is the draft. So make sure you pop in there and we'll have a good time there as well. Michael O, you must have been already in it. All right, I'm running this thing. Oh, Sarah, when are you coming on live, Sarah? Any of you guys, if any of you guys in here, you guys trying to get on any of these shows, give us your takes on live, definitely let us know because we are more than open to it. All right, I'm running this. Let's go. Let's see who we get. Who do we got? It is boom. Boom.
Paul. I believe Paul is the original winner of the GG Sports
Paul
podcast.
is the all-time top winner. We know how to get a hold of Paul for sure. We've already given him tons of cards. He gets another one. This guy's lucky. He deserves one of these big ones that we'll have coming up here. Let's go, Paul. He's always in it. This guy's lucky. But
I do believe Paul is the inaugural winner of the GG Sports podcast Justin Jefferson rookie card giveaway, isn't he?
Yeah, no question. That's got to be his 6th one.
Something like
Probably.
that. He was very
Something like
first, and he's the most
Hey,
recent.
man, I'll keep coming in here, dude. I don't care how many someone wins. You can win every single one every single time. If as long as you're in here, I don't care. I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody in here regardless.
Rigged 100.
Go for life,
Oh, that was
rigged 100.
Yeah, I think so for sure. But anyway, yeah. Thanks everybody for joining in again. It's always fun talking some ball. Draft is coming up soon. What, three weeks from Thursday? I think.
Yeah, 3 weeks from Thursday.
Yeah.
And again, Wednesday's our show with Dave. We're gonna give away another rookie card or some sort of card. Maybe I'll change it up a little bit. We'll see what's up. But yeah, we'll definitely pop in there and have another chance at winning some cards. We're gonna make sure everybody in here gets one eventually.
Yeah.
Like even hit me up separately and let me know you never won one before. And stuff.
Also, again, once you guys, once we get that 1,000, we're thinking once we hit 1,000 subscribers, might get a bunch of GG Sports podcast T-shirts made and maybe start giving some
giveaways with that, as well as when we hit 1,000, we're gonna give away a bigger card as well. So all that good stuff. But yeah,
I don't know, Park Tavern for the draft. We got a live stream to do for the draft, man.
Park Tavern for the draft. I'm in Colorado. That'd be sweet, though. But yeah, no, I think we're gonna have everybody on here, like rapping. Justin and Dave and SK, all those guys. So
anyway,
it'll be good.
As typical with the ending to our shows, Minnesota goodbyes, but it is what it is. Thanks again, everybody, for hopping in. We really appreciate it. Come check us out Wednesday night when we will be live with Dave and Minnesota Sports Talk and
Park Tavern
Vikes. So there we go.
Where's Park Tavern?
But until next time, we'll see you guys. Next live stream.
It's cold, like.